Well, hey there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. It is 6:30 on our Wednesday here as we work our way through the middle of the week. Things are still on the cold side, but we've got some room to warm things up over the next couple of days, and I think you're probably going to like where we're ending up as we go toward the end of the week. So let's get right to it. Taking a live look at Burlington this evening. We're looking pretty comfortable at the moment. A lot of wind moving in, but not as much wind as yesterday. Here it is. Temperatures are cool, of course, still, as they have been for a little while. We're only in the 40s this afternoon. There's been a bit of a breeze, but not nearly as intense as it was the last couple of days. Overall, I got to be honest with you. I don't have a ton to tell you about the current weather. Basically, where we are now is where we've been for the last couple of days. So what you see is what you get. We're basically kind of still in that cool, almost winter-like mode. Winter-like mode, as we have been for the last couple of days. Temperatures starting in the mornings in the 20s, warming up to the 40s for the afternoons. We did gain a couple of degrees today compared to yesterday. That's a sign that our colder weather is starting to go away, and we're starting to get more of that warmth moving in. You can especially see the difference in the North Carolina mountains and in the foothills, where it's about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Only subtle differences in the Triad. But either way, there will be some warmth moving our way, but not much in the way of significant weather. We're not seeing any big storms on the move or anything like that. If you look at the satellite picture, you can see it's pretty quiet up and down the East Coast. Only a couple of scattered rain showers in Tennessee moving their way into North Georgia. They're all missing us for this evening. Just a couple spotty clouds is something you'll probably notice as we go into this afternoon and evening, is that there'll be a little cloud on the horizon. You can see a little bit of that on our Winston-Salem camera this evening. And we haven't talked about daylight in a little while, but we are basically splitting the difference now with 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. And so this is kind of what we call that equal time of year, basically getting up toward the equinox. Across the country, the warmth has been dominating in the west, and the colder weather has been dominating here in the east. And that's kind of the way that it is. Typically, if we are on the cold side of things, they're on the warm side of things over there. Vice versa, when we're warm, they tend to be cold. That's just the way things work, at least this time of year across the country. And you can see that difference here in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Sometimes I like to show this to you because it shows kind of the weather pattern breaking down as a whole. When you look across the entire country right now, what really stands out is that western heat wave, and at the same time is that big dip in the jet stream over the east. As we move into the next couple of days, the west is going to stay very, very warm, but what we will see is that our colder weather, it's kind of washing out and moving up to the north. So as that happens, we're going to have a better chance to warm up and get a little bit above average for a change after our cool down. But the west, they're still going to be baking. So we might talk more about that coming up on the show as far as how warm they've been while we have been very cold. Overnight tonight, this is going to be the last one for a little while. That'll be really cold. So I do still expect us to be cooling down into the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees. That's where we are. And as we've been, those cold temperatures have been with us already for the majority of this week. One more time, we'll do that again for tomorrow. So the difference with Thursday compared to where we've been is that even though we start below freezing, we are going to warm up toward tomorrow afternoon, getting ourselves into the low 60s for Thursday afternoon. Something you might want to be checking out for tomorrow, and if you don't know about it, it's going to look weird. If you don't know about it, it's going to look weird. It is a rocket launch. We talk about this from time to time, and we'll talk about this with Brad coming up on the rest of the show. These are unusual sights, something we didn't used to see very often, but they're becoming much more common nowadays as we're sending more and more things into space. This is coming in from Florida. It'll be launching off the east coast of the United States. It starts in Cape Canaveral, of course, but the trajectory has it going north and gaining altitude off the Carolina coast. So bottom line, the scheduled time is for right around 6:35. Sometimes they're delayed, sometimes they're scrapped if the weather is not appropriate. But all systems appear to be go for this. So if you're looking in the sky, or maybe you're just driving east on the highway, Don't be shocked if you see something that looks like that, because what you're seeing is a trail of vapor scattered behind the rocket that gets illuminated in the sky because of the sunrise. When these happen way before sunrise or way after sunset, you don't see them. But this should be pretty well timed because it's within about an hour of sun up. Remember, our sunrise nowadays is happening at about 7:20, so this is pretty perfect timing to get something that might look pretty spectacular. I do see us as having pretty nice weather over the next few days, but what you'll notice is that we're warming a little bit each afternoon. So I have us right around 60 for tomorrow, and then getting up closer to around 70 for Friday. And after that, I do think that the weekend is going to be very warm. I mean, look at these temperatures. This is going to be nuts in the middle of the country. 80s and 90s here by Friday, and just very, very hot over the weekend. So we're definitely going to be looking at more warmth building our way. Not as hot as it is in the middle of the country, but we are likely to start to get a little bit warmer day by day. I'm not seeing much in the way of rainfall. So that drought update for tomorrow, probably going to be the same as it was last week. As far as rain potential, small chances for spotty showers going into Saturday and Sunday, and that's about it. I don't see anything super significant. The best chance for any rain, that would be with a cold front that slides our way on Monday. Other than that, I just don't really see it. So we're going to stay pretty dry throughout the rest of the week with temperatures that start to get above average at times. Here's a quick look at the weekend forecast. I have us right there around the upper 70s for Saturday, into the low 80s by Sunday. So this is some spring warmth. We've had a little bit of it. Remember, a week ago today, it was about 86 degrees. Next week, looking to still be on that warm side, but we will cool down by Monday and Tuesday. Not as cold as we were today, not as cold as we have been this week, but it will be getting a little cooler going into next week. Here's a look at the next 7 days. Low 60s for tomorrow after a cold morning. We'll start to get those warmer mornings back as we welcome in the weekend. How about upper 70s for Saturday, low 80s for Sunday, and then ahead to next week we go. It does seem to me that we'll likely cool down again Monday and Tuesday before yet another warm up. This is the time of year where we have warm-ups and cool-downs, and it really keeps you on your toes. That's the month of March. Stick around. We're back in 2.